I've heard from a common friend that you're working or you've finished 3 books,
Yeah.
and one of them, hopefully coming out soon, is called Knowing Too Much. It's about the shift of the American Jews, especially young ones, from their blind support to Israel, from what I've heard. So can you tell us more about this and what your conclusions are?
Well, the basic picture is pretty straightforward. American Jews are liberal. That's the given. They have been, they're liberal and they vote Democratic consistently. And they have for the past century, since you'd say around 1928, 1932. They vote overwhelmingly Democratic. And then when you look at the various polls that are taken, where people are asked to identify, do you consider yourself conservative, moderate, or liberal? Jews are, by a much higher percentage than any other ethnic group except African Americans, they classify themselves as liberal. So for example, in the last presidential election, 80% of American Jews voted for Barack Obama, which is a much higher percentage than any other ethnic group except for African Americans. Even Latinos, it was only about 63% Jews, it was 80%. Now, when you consider that Jews are by far now the richest ethnic religious group in the United States, well, they should be voting Republican, the rich person's party. But no, they vote Democratic, they're liberal. And the basic fact is that Jews are finding it more and more difficult to reconcile their liberal convictions, their liberal beliefs, their liberal tenets, their liberal ideology, equality under the law, the rule of law, support for international institutions, the preference for diplomacy rather than force in order to solve diplomatic crises. They're finding it much more difficult to reconcile their liberal credo with the way Israel carries on. Now, there was a time when Israel dominated all of the perceptions of it in the media, in scholarship, everywhere. They were very good at controlling the image that was projected of them. And so Jews were able to reconcile being liberal with Israel's behavior. It was the light unto the nations, it was the only democracy in the Middle East, and all of that stuff. But now American Jews who are highly literate, by far the most highest percentage attending college and so forth, they're highly literate, which means they're knowledgeable, they read serious journals of opinion, they tend to congregate in ambiances which are cerebral. They tend to congregate in cerebral professions, doctors, lawyers, professors. They know too much. Israel no longer is able to control the image of itself. There are human rights organizations, there are independent scholars, and they're not able. And also we have to add that the government is completely insane. I mean, there was a time where the foreign minister of Israel was Abba Eban, who was a very impressive, literate, civilized person, graduated with a triple first from Cambridge. Well, now the foreign minister, Avigdor Lieberman, his claim to fame was he was a Moldovan nightclub bouncer. It's very hard to project a particularly impressive image when you're Avigdor Lieberman. So American Jews know too much, and they're no longer able to reconcile their avowed convictions with the way Israel carries on. And so you could see that Jews are distancing themselves from Israel.
So could it transform into political changes?
Jews, like many other ethnic groups, they have this thing about not airing dirty laundry in public. That's it's the way Jews operate, and I think other ethnic groups too. And so I don't think they're going to ever, in significant numbers, come out attacking Israel. And in public, they'll probably be still defensive. But they're not going to come out supporting it either. They're going to quietly disengage themselves from Israel. Except, of course, a small percentage will take the risks of openly criticizing Israel. But I don't think it'll ever be a majority. Jews are too defensive for that. What they won't do is, we already know, we see the evidence. If you look at the Israel Day Parade, the only Jews who go out for the Israel Day Parade are elderly Jews who grew up in all the Zionist propaganda and Orthodox Jews. But the Orthodox Jews, though, only represent about 10% of American Jewry. The vast secular liberal contingent of Jews, they don't come out anymore for the Israel Day Parade. They do not come out for demonstrations in support of Israel. For example, if Israel were to attack Iran, and I don't think it will, but if it were to attack and things start to go badly, I don't think American Jews will rally behind them. I don't think they will. Because they're getting tired of defending Israel's wars. And it's embarrassing. It's a crazy country. Every 3 years it goes to war. It's sort of like it's like a junkie. They need their what's the expression with a junkie? They need their fix. First they cheerlead the war in Iraq, 2006 attack Lebanon, 2008-9 Gaza. Now they want to go after Iran. They're lunatics. And American Jews don't want to defend that.